So, I wasn't gonna make a video because didn't really feel like I wanted to make a video. But I guess that is not what happened because I also got a little bit inspired to make one at the same time. So here it is. Hi. Today the date is July 21st, 2019. It's funny because I feel like like I mess up on the year more than I mess up on the actual date, which is also debatable. But we're in the same year every day for 365 days. So really, what is there to trip about? Anyway, I'm trying to get good lighting by moving it around a little bit, but like I'm also laying down, so I guess you get what you get at this point. Anyway, so I just wanted to quickly, because I'm really gonna make this as short as I can for right now. I wanted to talk about my day. I wanted to also talk about my last night, which was a very quick change, which was very interesting to me because, all right, I'm going to just get into it before I start getting confusing. So last night, yesterday in general, I had a good day. It was basically me reaffirming again, who I am. And this is about self-love. So if anybody gets lost, it really is about self-love. It's always about self-love because it's always about us. So when it comes down to it, I was very happy. I deserve this. I belong here. Things that I could say in my heart, because a lot of people have a lot of things that, they'd be like, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. You are beautiful. That's great and all, but I need something that I can say, like, based on syllables. I don't know. That's just the way I think. And that is the way my heart functions sometimes. So I sometimes need things that don't even make sense sometimes. Like, sometimes words get kind of confusing, but I like to make sure that whenever I have an affirmation that I like to say in my heart, I like to say something that my heart automatically knows what to say. And for a while it was like center, like that was pretty much my head right there, like how I do my meditations sometimes when it gets really hard and like I'm really thinking about too much. But with my heart, it's like things like you are beautiful. And, sometimes every day that's not going to work. So, switch it up. Or even every couple of minutes, that's not going to work either. Because that's just, when your emotions change, sometimes you don't need to hear the same thing over again. You need to hear something based on what you're feeling at that moment. So, there was something that happened within the household that made me feel less than, and it made me feel like I wasn't the empress. It made me feel like I do one part of your hair and all of the hair goes with it. I can't wait to like redo my hair. So, as it grows out, don't talk about it. Just something happened and it made me feel like I didn't belong here when I already know that I do, and I already knew that I did. But something I deal with because I'm also a very logical person. I shoot for my dreams, but I am a very logical person. Like, I don't step unless I really feel like I know where I'm going. So, or I know that I'm going to be okay, and I know that I'm supposed to go in a certain direction. So it was just something where God gave me this specific family that I'm in right now. And, that's also debatable because as a twin flame, I know that we make our own paths as souls and we choose our parents. So, debatable, and also it is very like if anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. So basically, I'm living here, not living here, but staying here for right now, and it made me feel like I was taking advantage of the situation, but at the same time, I wasn't, because I really am the perfect house guest. It's just they aren't used to having a person like me be here, so it was very different for them as well. So they're confused. Because when it comes down to it, I want to, I don't, hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Wait, can I turn that around? Heck yeah. Okay, so that's my backpack, my little tiny backpack. Got the towel that I use to take a bath right behind it. Got my luggage. All my clothes are folded up. They stay in there. All my other stuff is in there. I put it in front of the door because the dogs like to come and poke their faces in here. And the door is kind of weird because this is the prayer room, to be specific. So, and that's a prayer wheel. You know what? I want to show this to you because after everything that happened that brought me here, it was so funny. It was so fitting, but it was so funny that it says, "The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your desire with good things." And then it has like a little wheel for like if you need like a specific type of prayer. And I just thought it was really funny. Oh, you know what? It's also really funny at the top. It says "Friends fail." Although I didn't read that, I wrote them down because I intended to read it. Who knows? I might still do that. And you know, like I have my shoes right here, you know, like in my little notebook, in my journal, the fan. I made this my own type of little space. I drink a lot of water, so that's there. Laundry basket. That's the towel I use to, you know, actually wash my ass. And that's a dirty towel. I'm very organized when it comes to keeping things organized. So all my stuff is with me. I didn't, you know, come in here. I didn't expect to stay for a long time, but at the same time, I'm grateful for it. And a lot of lessons have been learned while I've been here. So even though it's not my schedule, I fully understand why it's happening. It may be annoying, but at the same time, I fully understand. But the purpose of showing you all of that stuff is basically that I don't take advantage of other people's kindness. I stay in this room, and that's the thing. They don't think that I'm actively doing something to, don't lick my nails. They don't think I'm actively doing anything to get out of the situation. However, I've explained it to them. But I've had to explain it to them in a way where I can only do so much explaining, because they're a Christian family and they believe in God, and they're very good people. They're very good people. I refer to all my family and friends as people. Is that insensitive? People really think I'm insensitive. I love you guys anyway, but it confuses them that I don't go out. I don't know. People just really think it's weird that I don't go anywhere. And it's not because I'm holed up in this room and nothing to do and whatnot. It's just that's just not what I do. I don't. And it's not me not living my best life. That is just how me personally, that's just how I operate. I haven't been in this room doing absolutely nothing. Obviously, I've eventually made the step of making a YouTube video and uploading it, and I've seen change because, you know, as a divine feminine, you know, I'm very connected. So when it comes to, you know, card readings and stuff like that, and spiritually, like, I know where my path is taking me. That's my thing. This story wrapped around a little bit, but it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. It's just, I'm very sure about my path. I'm very sure because I've even thought about it. I'm like, so like, should I be doing something else? Should I be doing more? Blah, 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 blah. And then I thought about it and I was just like, I wouldn't have left my job. I would not have left my job if I was meant to still work somewhere else before moving on. And on top of that, the only reason that I would be doing something instead of waiting, like they told me to, because the thing is like, you know, on your specific path when you're supposed to be waiting and when you're supposed to be going, you know. And the only reason why I would choose to get off of this path right now, and not even get off of the path, is to take a detour, is if out of fear, out of fear that, you know, it's not gonna work out, out of fear that my decision was wrong. Ooh, I'm about to get a little tired. It's tearing up. I get passionate. I'm gonna cry a little bit. It just, it's just something that your path, I just wanted to say it in a more direct way, is like, your path is your path. And when you know, because some people think, there's a difference. You'll know. You know when you're not going in the right direction. You know when things aren't working out. But everything that I've done going in this direction has been totally correct. One. And I've seen it. It's the thing. It's just like, when you're going in the same direction and you're not going in the right direction, nothing looks like it's changing. Every day is just every day. It doesn't feel right. It's just kind of, you're just doing it. You're just doing it. But when you're on your path, or you're learning your lessons, that's the thing. You got to learn your lessons as you're going. When you learn your lessons and you are continuing to go down said path, you know, you can start seeing differences in people, the way they treat you, things they say, probably different things happening within your day. And in a place that is so singular right now, I've noticed all those things, like certain sounds that I've never heard while I've been over here. They just happen, and then they'll be happening after I think something that is like an idea or something. Things like that. Or, you know, you feel like you're actually going in the right direction. So, let me see if I can just... Boop, boop. Yeah, there we go. I look like a Abercrombie model. Where? Anyway, it's just for like the seventh time. It's just that my path is very different from everybody's, and I've already known that, but I didn't realize how different. And I'm learning more and more every day how different it really is. And it's kind of scary, because at the same time, like this all of this is just, it's just not good. At the same time, it is not scary because I've already trusted the situation multiple times. Like, there's a reason, there was multiple stages to get to this point in the first place. So I've seen what the universe has given me. I've seen what God has given me. I know already. So why when things are looking, you know, kind of dull, and it's not the first time that they've looked dull. It ain't the first time. But I've always kept that positive mindset. I've always been like, this is okay. This is okay. But this whole last period of this has been one of those, I know that everything is okay. Why am I still stressing? Like, why is this really stressing me out? And it's because I can see the outside world moving, and people getting more impatient, you know, with me still being here. And me thinking, okay, like, if I had a choice, I would not be here right now. But the thing is like, I know, one, what I want. I know, two, where I'm going. Like, not the next step necessarily, but I know why I'm still here. And I also know like I know what my life is going to look like for the most part. So I know what direction I'm supposed to be going in. And that's all following my heart. And that doesn't mean, stressing about money and doing certain things. So when I say, like I stay in this room, I'm constantly doing something. Like I'm always letting my brain do a lot of everything. Resting. I had to remember to rest because work for me is fun. So sometimes I forget to rest because, it's like play to me, wake up, do something. But at the same time, they don't see that. They don't see that I'm going out and doing anything with anybody. And it's just because I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say. I don't have a car. I don't have any money. And I don't even go out when the sun is up. I don't do that. That's just, it's hot. It's hot where I live. The sun just be, The only time I was out when the sun was up was when I have to. And that was when I was at the park. So it's like, I switched that around because it was best for me. That doesn't ever mean that I'm not going to be in the sun. It just means specifically that in this town, it's too hot to be doing anything, especially if I don't want to. And it's not like, oh, I don't like doing anything. No, it doesn't serve me. So I'm not going to do it, no matter what other people are trying to tell me, because for every person that you think that you're taking advice from them because they're right, really look at how happy they are in their situation. Never mind the fact that I am in a room. How happy am I? What do I look like? How am I presenting myself in general? Like, do I look like a shut-in that doesn't want to do anything? No, like I said, if it were up to me, I'm just saying the universe planned this out. Like, I've always wanted a car. I tried to get a car throughout the years. It just never worked out. It did not work out because it wasn't time. Like, it wasn't time for me to have a car. And I tried to save money. And I don't know. Something always happens where it's no. And then I give when I am guided to give and when it feels right to give. And even when I didn't have, I feel it's, I don't know, I don't really talk about things like that, but even when I didn't really have anything in my wallet to give towards the end of the little money that I had after I stopped working, I still gave. And that is something that it felt right. It wasn't because I wanted to give because just to give. It was like, I want to give because I feel like you need it. I feel like I should give this to you. Like, I want you to notice me. Because I walk in the room, people notice me. It's not that difficult. So I also try to make sure it's on the down low too. Like, I like to wrap things in like dollar bills and then just like give it to people instead of, letting them see what's actually in the dollar bill. Unfortunately, somebody actually chased me out of this place that I was in. And they were like, you gave too much. And I'm like, what? I was like about to get in my car and I couldn't hear them. And they're like, you gave too much. And I'm like, oh, the blah. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, no, that's okay. I meant to do that. And they're like, you are tipping that, you are blessing. And I was just like, well, God blessed me, and that was like, it felt good. Like, I had never had like a really big rush of giving before, and it was just such a beautiful feeling. And also my friend, she is like my kid, my child. I got choked up a little bit because I love her. She stayed with me for almost a year. Oh no, it was a year because she got here in May. She stayed with me for a year and we didn't ask for anything from her whatsoever. And I didn't want anything from her. I just wanted her to be happy. I wanted her to be with people that love her and that can actually provide her a place to be. She didn't have to do nothing else. I wanted her to feel more at home. I wanted her to unpack everything and put it wherever it was, but time, you know. And in the end, it kind of worked out like that, but at the same time, it didn't. But she was comfortable. She was able to be there. And that's something that's being rewarded to me right now, even though it's a little bit more stressful because we never really said that, we didn't push her. And honestly, she was looking for a job, so it was different. But I wanted her to just meditate, find out who she was. Maybe I should take my own advice. I did take my own advice, but at the same time, when I freak out, I think about things like that. It's just like when the universe tells you to chill out, when you're going out there looking for a job and you can't find one, when you know that you're meant for more and you have, just like Drake said, the music was worth the wait. That's all I had to say. I don't know. It's specifically my path is right now I need to wait. And I'm not against waiting because I really do know. I know. And on top of that, I love. And I'm going to leave it at that point. But when other people around you are saying that they just really don't understand and they're making you feel some type of way about the path that you choose to take, don't. If you know that for sure, don't lie to yourself. Cause he'll correct you. He'll correct you. But if you are 100% sure that you chose right, not that you're going in the right direction, but that you chose right. Because sometimes that gets kind of scary and you start to feel like you're not going in the right direction. But think back. How did you get here? What were the signs? What led you here? Why do you believe in this in the first place? And try to capitalize on that. Remember who you are when you are stressing out over things that you know are out of your control, and give it to God. And that's something that I had a good day about, also saying, I am worthy. I belong. I am not alone. I was never alone. Because that is something that, we all struggle with. It's definitely something I struggled with. I put ED because I want to be better with that. I don't want to be the type of person that pushes away the people that I love. Even though my personality is my personality, they're going to have to learn how to love me. But I am always continuously learning how to love them. So, I'm going to have to take some L's because they're all wins. They're all wins because in the end, relationships cannot. They just cannot if you don't put the right effort in. Sometimes not sometimes. People hecka know when they're not with the right people, but I know for a fact, God led me here just to make amends with these people. I'm going to say it like that. I'm not going to change that. It might change, but that's just how I think about things right now. Well, if anything, it's gotten a lot better. That was the reason. And I was really happy when I went to sleep, which was about 1 a.m. because that's just how my sleep schedule is. Ain't nobody missing sleep, but at the same time, I do feel like I wake up really early and stay up all day. Probably because I'm in bed all day, working from home. But the transition from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. when I woke up, then I felt disappointed all over again. And I'm just like, this is an everyday thing. This is not an everyday thing. This is not what we're doing. Because that's not who I am. And it's something that really scared me because I know that when you choose to stay in that type of mindset, that messes with your vibration. You're going backwards. So immediately when I feel that way, I like to clear it figure out why I feel that way, and then I like to try to make sure that I've cleared everything out, because my everybody's goal should be, but my goal specifically is to clear out everything negative, everything negative, because that is exactly why we're moving on. Moving on. I'm not trying to get in the way of my own happiness. That's self-sabotage. You tell me to go, I go. But the thing is, they didn't tell me to go. And that's the part that has been scaring me. I'm like, give me a sign. Get here. And I already knew the damn answer. Every time I freak out, I'm like, I already know the answer. Why am I tripping? And it's because the people around me are tripping. And it's because I am allowing that to make me feel less than, like my path is not important. But at the same time, I've never felt that it wasn't important. It was probably me thinking, you know what, I can do this until then. But I'm like, no, that sets you back. Don't act up. Do not act up. When you feel like something is hard, don't act up. Man up. And, woman up. Because, fix your emotions. You know what? That's gender specific. I'm not going to make it more complicated, but you get the point with that. And I hope that nobody got lost. Oh, yeah, the rest of the story. So I was lying on my floor before I went to sleep, a little bit after 1 a.m. And I was doing some yoga and breathing because I felt like I needed to get up. I stretched and stuff. It felt great. I'm about to start my period, so my back was hurting. But it was like God said, watch the Tyrell show tomorrow. And I thought it was funny because Spirit talks to me often. Spirit speaks through me all the time. But usually when God comes in, Spirit's kind of taking a little bit of a back seat. So it was really interesting to hear him come in, because I can always speak to him if I need to. But I don't normally think about that unless I really do feel like I need to speak to him. And when he speaks, it's like like you really aren't alone. You know you're not alone. Why are you tripping? Because a lot of it does feel like I'm doing it myself. But at the same time, I know better. And when he actually enters the equation, I'm like it slaps me back into place, and I'm like, thank you, Lord, hallelujah. So he's like, watch the Tyrell show, right? And I was like, all right. He's like, watch it tomorrow when you wake up, or around that time. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, and if anything calls out to you or stands out to you, make sure you do it. Immediately my thought was, there's going to be another song association contest, and he's going to have me enter it. But at the same time, there's been several times where I wanted to enter, but I don't have social media, so I was kind of out the running in that. So, and also I didn't feel like I was ready. Even though I feel like I'm ready now for anything, I didn't really feel like I should be in a contest or anything like that. But I said, okay, because the fear of not doing it was something that I didn't want to even invoke, because the next step is the next step, and you ain't gonna stop me. Okay, so I was like, all right, okay. And then he's like, don't try to put it together. Just watch the Tyrell show tomorrow. And if something pops out at you, just do it. And he started to, he made it vague, but he kind of like played a little bit of a Missy's channel or something, like videos. Like, oh, okay, so if videos pop out to me, make sure you watch them. And I've kind of made this point to not watch card readings, so that I can just literally give it to God, because the whole yesterday, I was just like, take it from me. Take it from me. Take it from me. I don't want it. And he knew what I meant when I said I don't want it. I was like, I do not want the responsibility of trying to put this together because I know that is not my responsibility. I'm just here to wait. I said this was going to be quick, but I lied. No, it might be quick, and it might not. And so then I wake up this morning, and of course I'm feeling the boo, the disappointment happening, and scared for no reason. And no matter what I did, I was like breathing. I was just like, I'm okay. Like, that's how I release negativity. I don't know. It depends on how I want to come out. I'm like, I set the intention and I breathe. And then I imagine, like my hand, a hand taking out negativity from my well of happiness. Like, and then like a little shower head inside, just because, water equals love, life, spirit. Anyway. And so they're like, take a shower. And I was like, I don't want to take a shower. Are you going to take a shower? Just take the damn shower. And I'm like, all right, I'll go take the shower. Because once they say something a couple times, I'm like, all right, I know that they really want me to do that. Because sometimes they say things as suggestions, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. But I know when something is like, that's something I need to do. So I go take a shower. I'm like thinking, I'm talking to myself, and I'm just like making sure that I'm okay, because I want to start the day off good. Like, I do not want to spend not a second more than I have to being in a funky mood and at risk at making my vibration mucky. That's what I'm gonna say. That's the word I'm gonna use. I've never used that word in my life, but I'm gonna use it like that. So I'm like in the shower and whatnot, and they're like, watch the Tyrell show when you get out of the shower, because they wanted me to be comfortable when I watched it, and I was like, all right, thank you. I'm getting a little emotional because I was like, thank you. Like, I felt like a child every single time something happens where my emotions like decide they want to act up, because I feel things differently now. It's like I feel like a little kid, and I usually end up in the shower because that's where it cleanses you, and that's where spirit likes to communicate with me the most, is like when I'm drinking water, or when there's water around me, water, blah. And and so I'm just like, okay, all right. And so I come back and I turn it on, and it was a video that I had skipped multiple times, probably throughout the time that I've been here, because I don't think I've seen it before this point. And it was called I Got a Testimony. And I was like, I feel like I want to watch that video, but I don't want to watch it right now. I'm trying to watch, some singing. I want to get inspired to sing and whatnot. So skipped it. This time clicked on it. Don't know why I clicked on it, really, but I was just like, well, because I done watched every other video. And I click on it, and he's just like, I'm going to try to make this short. And he talks about how he had to help his friend move out of his apartment that they were both living in, his roommate. And his roommate bought everything, owned pretty much everything in there. And he ended up not having anything left, including a bunch of things that he uses in order to do his show. And then he was talking about how I don't know if they're friends or they just work together, but I mean, honestly, it could be both. Because he's just such a friendly person. Anyway. So he said that his friend, who was in the room with him and was, he's like, I'm about to tell you a little bit of your story and whatever. It's for the experience. And that is the only time you really should be telling anybody's business, is to educate. I love that. And, he said that her car broke down, was in the shop, had to get fixed. And it was a lot of money to fix it, a lot of money for her especially, and a lot of money for anybody, especially like when he knew that he had to buy a bunch of stuff. Like, he knew that he wasn't going to have enough money to do anything. And he said his checkbook was next to him. And his checkbook ain't never next to him because he don't use it for nothing. Don't nobody use it. The only reason I use my checkbook is I have a check that says void, so that I always can get direct deposit whenever needed. You know, when you do your taxes, or you know, when you're at work. That's the only reason I use my checks. I had to burn the rest of them. I don't use them. So um he said there was a voice in my head that said just write the check and to help her out. And he was like don't say anything, just write the check. And he wrote it, gave it to her, and said, you know, don't say anything, just take it and let's move on. And that was hard for him. And I'm pretty sure it was hard for her, because receiving something from somebody like that, and you know they're struggling, you know they're going through a hard time. Like, there's just a lot of thoughts that probably, because definitely would have came up for me, for sure. Because I have a problem with accepting things that I know are mine. And that was something that I had to learn how to do, is to receive. And he gave to her. And then I don't know if he said the next day or a little bit after that, he said he went on about his business. And the whole move out process continued, whatnot. And he said that he said that every single cent that he had spent on the stuff that he needed to get, because God said, get what you need. He said that it got put back in his bank account. He got every cent back. And that was, he said, if you're struggling, just know that God got you. And that was just really something that I needed to hear this morning. It was this morning. And I cried. It was like the first time where I've actively just tears, because I don't like crying when I'm sad. Sometimes the tears just be acting up and do what they want. I like crying when I'm happy. That was a very grateful cry. Like, that was just, I don't know. That was just, I was so grateful. And it was such an experience, because God knew exactly what I needed to hear. Because that is exactly what happened. I gave, and I gave, and I gave, and I gave. And I didn't really think anything of it, because I knew that it was the right thing to do. I knew it felt good. And I'm not the type of person to just give. I'm not the type of person to take, but I give more time than money. So, you know, money is not really a thing when it comes to giving. But when I had it, I gave, and that was something that I didn't have to do, because that's something that when you don't have a lot and then you gain something and you feel like you're comfortable, it's kind of scary to give. And that's, you know, like in a minute in a bank account. And a lot of things are looking, if I was another type of person, a lot of things would be looking down right now. But to be honest, my money situation, I'm really not worried about it. Like, I've already given up on the worrying about that, because I already know that everything is already taken care of. But it's just the situation of me currently being in someone else's house and feeling like I'm taking advantage of their goodwill, when in reality I'm not. I have all my stuff in its respective place, even though I don't have to. I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, I could unlatch everything, but I didn't plan on staying here this long. I only eat when fed, and sometimes I don't even come out to eat unless I'm really starving, and I use the bathroom. Like, I don't like taking advantage of certain things, especially because, like, it was a God-given family, not a blood-given family, so it's a little different for me, you know. And I didn't, but at the same time, what I didn't really take into account is that their faith is being tested along with mine. Like, it's not just me, and I knew that it wasn't just me. And I've I've already gotten used to the fact that I am divine intervention. Like, if I come into your life for any type of reason, best believe something's gonna happen. Or you on the right path, or I'm gonna say something. I don't know. Like, if you see me, you're on the right path. Like, there's something. I've already accepted that. But, when things get hard for the both of us, it gets kind of hard for me. And then I'm just like, I don't know how to react to this right now, so I'm going to just give you your forgiveness, go say nice things, breathe about it, and then, I'm probably not going to talk to you for a minute because I don't like conflict. But at the same time, if I know that I need to fix something, I'll pop up again. Something will get fixed. We'll talk about it, I'm sure. But I like to give people their space because I like my space. But at the same time, if I make the effort. I do make the effort, but I make it in my own way. I'm not going to be fake about certain things. So that means if you tell me to get a job and I'm doing exactly what the Lord told me to do because I know more about my situation than you do, then I don't know what to tell you when I keep telling you no. Like, I don't know what to say. And it's because I already know. And I would not have been in this situation had I not already trusted the Lord. So why, when, something gets rough, am I tripping? That's something that I really want to work on. That it starts with day one when working on something. So if you learn something in the morning, if you learned something 5 minutes ago, make sure to share it. If you feel like you need to share it, like, what I learned probably about 5 minutes ago is, because it's a very valid lesson. There's so much learning and so much healing, so much growth that can take place in the matter of period. Because honestly, it just starts with the choice. It starts with the choice of being better than you were a couple seconds ago, a couple days ago, even a day ago. Like, it's just... it just takes... it takes the choice, no wishy-washiness, which is hypocritical of me to say, I will say, because even though I die hard believe in all of this, like, full on, I've already seen some things, but there's more movement happening in other people's lives, so it's easy for me to lose sight of the goal sometimes, but at the same time, I put myself right back on it because I know better. But there are those times where it gets really hard when other people are involved and there's like a couple of them that have something interesting to say that really get to you, even though you're normally not the person to be got. That's the thing. You're more sensitive. But, and that's when God puts me back on. Even spirit, but to be honest, like, spirit is always there, so can't really. There's just a whole team of angels happening up in here. But it's because I need it, honey. I swear, there's just so much that this world is going to be opened up to, and it's going to be so interesting because even though my path is unique, right now the divine feminine is supposed to be going out and doing things, like actively going and living her best life and stuff, and I'm like, I really am living my best life. Like, I can honestly say that if I was going out and doing extra stuff, I feel like that would just be a distraction of me doing whatever. Like, that wouldn't serve me in any type of way. Like, do things that are good for you. Do things that you know you enjoy, and not like. But I guess in my case, like, I really do. I need to. This is my pause button. And my pause button was very much needed because I needed to learn a little bit more about myself. And that was something that was hard because I didn't see it coming. That's one. I didn't see it coming. I didn't think that I would end up here. I didn't think I would end up at the park. But these stages were necessary. And even though, again, from higher consciousness, I realize what is going on when it's happening, there are still some things that are hidden from me because the journey wouldn't be fun if, if I wasn't constantly learning and figuring out things about my soul. That's me being saucy. This lighting, it just got kind of worse, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so I'm actually gonna stop this video now. That was supposed to be a lot shorter than this, but it wasn't. I'm sorry. Kind of. The other videos are longer, so I'm not actually sorry, but I did say it was gonna be short, but I guess this will not be the first time. Some videos also say the same thing. But to narrow it down for those who got lost, legit just stick to your path if you know that you're supposed to be on it. If you know that you're going in the right direction, what is your heart saying? And are all the people around you people that you need to keep around you is the thing. Because some people are meant to be cut out, one, but some people are meant to be boundary set, because some people really think that they know you better than you know yourself. But when you know that that's not the case, you have to handle it with love, handle it with compassion, but you also got to get your shit done, because you can't stay with them forever. Like, it's not your path. Like, it's just, there are certain decisions that people need to make, and we can't be scared to make them, because we don't know if anything's gonna be better when we move on. And that is something that holds us back. And it's easy for other people to try to say something and throw you off, but you know the answer. So it's honestly, everybody's faith is being tested, because those people can't grow unless you grow. So if you're like the type of person that doesn't want to leave someone because you're afraid of what'll happen to them, they're gonna find their answers. Trust. Because in another video, oh, I didn't post that one. Well, another video I said my mom is my karmic, and if I've witnessed her growing, I've witnessed her being a better version of herself, whether or not she chose to heal. In between that, she is actively healing because she, doesn't really have a choice at some point. Deja vu. Excuse me. It's just like those people really only exist to teach you lessons. So if you're continuously held down by their beliefs, by their views of you, and by their actions and their rules, then you will always continuously have those problems. Period. Not some people are meant to be cut out, some people are meant to set boundaries. And if you always stay within their boundaries and their expectations of you, and you don't do what you need to do for yourself, then you end up not growing. It's just a cycle of boo. Period. So always stick true to what it is that you know that you need to be doing, because that in the end will make everybody happy, not just you. Like everybody, literally everybody. Because you can't help nobody else if you can't help yourself. Anyway, I meant to say this video was timeless. I always forget to say these videos are timeless, but they are timeless. So whenever you see it is when you're supposed to see it. Anyway, thank you for listening. Goodbye.